You are about to uncover the hidden inner soul, the silent presence guiding every moment of your life. As ancient wisdom unfolds, you'll recognize that the observer and the world observed are one. What you are seeking has never been outside you. It has been waiting for your awareness. The Hidden Inner Soul. Introduction. Deep within you rests the hidden inner soul, a presence so expansive it contains the whole of creation. This truth does not arrive through effort or study, for it has never left you. It waits in stillness, not to be discovered, but to be remembered. Your awakening begins the moment you sense that you are more than a witness to life. You are consciousness itself, moving, breathing, and experiencing its own reflection through human form. This knowing is not grasped by the mind alone. It awakens something ancient within your very cells. As remembrance deepens, the boundaries you once believed in begin to soften. The division between inner and outer dissolves, and a greater unity reveals itself. One seamless field of awareness, where the observer and the observed are no longer separate. This is your original state, gently veiled by habit, belief, and forgetting. Life speaks to you constantly, not through language, but through resonance. Each breath, each meeting, each quiet pause carries a message meant for your soul. The universe communicates in silence, in the space between thoughts, in the rhythm beneath your heartbeat, in the stillness where truth quietly waits. This journey does not ask you to become anything more. It asks only that you release what you are not. Like mist lifting from the morning sun, the illusions of limitation fade, revealing the brilliance that has always been present beneath them. Remember this: you have never been apart from the source of all being. Your awareness is not confined to form or time. You are the seeker and the answer, the dream and the dreamer, the mystery and its revelation. When this truth is fully embraced, everything you experience begins to transform. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening World. Chapter 1. The mirror begins to breathe. Through your everyday moments, the extraordinary whispers. Like Lucy in her garden, you may find yourself walking familiar paths when suddenly the veil of routine parts, revealing glimpses of deeper truth. The ordinary transforms into a gateway when awareness turns back upon itself, recognizing its own luminous nature. Consider how Lucy's mirror became more than mere reflection. It became an invitation to step through appearance into essence. This mirrors your own journey of awakening. When you cease viewing life as something happening to you and recognize yourself as the happening itself, every moment becomes a portal to profound presence. The mirror of consciousness doesn't simply reflect experience. It reveals the experiencer and experienced as one unified field. In the quietude of daily life, like Tommy at his counter, sacred remembrance often emerges through the simplest acts. Each polished bell represents a moment of recognition, where the sound of your own being rings clear above the noise of thought. The chimes that called Tommy home to himself speak to the eternal nature of soul memory. It cannot be lost, only temporarily forgotten. Tommy's story teaches that remembering who you are requires no striving. It asks only that you listen deeply enough to hear the silence beneath all sound. In that silence, recognition dawns naturally. You are not separate from the awareness that perceives. You are that awareness taking form. Your own awakening follows this same gentle path. Like Lucy's garden and Tommy's bells, your life continuously offers moments where the ordinary opens into the infinite. These are not merely metaphors, but living invitations to recognize your true nature. The practice of pure awareness. Find a peaceful space and settle into a comfortable position. Allow your attention to rest in the subtle rhythm of your breath, feeling its natural pulse throughout your body. Gradually expand this awareness until you sense a gentle vibration permeating every cell. Let this subtle humming sensation soften the edges of thought, dissolving the boundary between observer and observed. Rest in the spacious knowing that remains when all else falls away, pure awareness, conscious of itself. Stay with this recognition for as long as feels natural, allowing yourself to be the awareness that you already are. Chapter 2. The Invitation of Light. The wisdom of light travels through endless mirrors, never diminishing. As Millie discovered in that sacred morning moment, a single flame creates infinite reflections, each carrying the full power of its source. This truth unveils the nature of universal energy. In giving, you multiply your essence rather than depleting it. When you share your light, be it through love, kindness, or creative expression, you do not divide your power but amplify it. Like Millie's candlelight dancing across the window panes, your energy touches countless surfaces, creating new points of radiance while maintaining its original brilliance. This multiplication principle lies at the heart of universal abundance. By the vast ocean, Harold gathered shells, each unique in pattern and form. Yet as he held them, understanding dawned. Every shell emerged from the same infinite sea. This mirrors the deeper truth of existence. All manifestations arise from one source, like waves from an boundless ocean. The law of attraction operates through this unity, drawing together experiences that resonate with your inner state. When you recognize this oneness, you align with the natural flow of abundance. Just as the ocean doesn't hesitate to form countless shells, the universe freely expresses itself through infinite forms. Your role is not to force or strain, but to open yourself as a channel through which universal energy flows. The shells in Harold's hands whispered an ancient secret. Separation is an illusion. Each seemingly individual form contains the essence of the whole. When you give, you're not losing but participating in the endless dance of energy returning to itself. Your generosity becomes a mirror, reflecting back multiplied abundance. Like the ocean shaping shells or light casting reflections, universal energy moves through you, seeking expression. As you share your gifts, you don't become less. You become more fully yourself, more deeply connected to the source of all abundance. The sacred practice of unified light. Close your eyes and visualize every person and thing you love as tiny suns around you. See your family, friends, pets, treasured objects, and cherished places as points of golden light. Feel their warmth, their distinct radiance. Now breathe deeply and watch as these individual lights begin to merge, flowing together like streams into an ocean. As they unite, experience the vast radiant field they create, a single pulsing brightness that contains all you love while transcending separation. Rest in this unified light, feeling gratitude ripple through its endless expanse. You are not separate from this field of light. You are it, experiencing itself through countless forms of love. Chapter 3. The Whisper That Says, Begin. The universe speaks in whispers before it speaks in shouts. In an age where doubt masquerades as wisdom, you may have forgotten how to listen to these gentle nudges of divine guidance. Yet the language of the universe remains eternally patient, waiting for you to remember its sacred alphabet. Long ago, in a bustling city, there lived a woman named Darla, who wore doubt like a shield. Each morning she would silence the soft voice within, choosing instead to live by the cold calculations of her mind. Until one ordinary dawn, as steam rose from her morning coffee, it shaped itself into an unmistakable heart before her eyes. In that fleeting moment, the veil between the visible and invisible worlds grew thin. This simple sign, dismissed by many as mere chance, became her first step toward trusting the unseen hand that guides all things. The law of divine communication teaches that every moment carries a message, every circumstance holds counsel. Just as light needs no permission to illuminate, guidance flows ceaselessly whether you choose to perceive it or not. Your recognition simply allows you to consciously participate in the eternal dialogue. Consider the tale of Benny, a merchant who once scoffed at omens and signs. One morning, a pristine white feather appeared in his driveway. Instead of sweeping it aside, something within him paused. He picked up the feather, acknowledging it as a messenger from the unseen realms. This simple act of recognition opened a door within his consciousness. In the days that followed, guidance began appearing everywhere, in chance encounters, in overheard conversations, in the pattern of leaves in his garden. By honoring the small signs, he attuned himself to the greater symphony of universal direction. The law reveals that acknowledgement is magnetic. What you recognize multiplies. What you honor intensifies. When you bow to the wisdom in small moments, larger revelations naturally follow. The universe seeks to guide you through an intricate language of synchronicity, waiting only for your willingness to listen. Ancient practice of sacred recognition. As the sun rises each morning, open yourself to the subtle language of the universe. Notice the smallest acts of grace, a bird's song that catches your attention, a stranger's smile that warms your heart, a coincidence that makes you pause. When such moments arise, bow inwardly to their sacred nature. Let your heart, not your mind, interpret their meaning. Trust the gentle current of intuition to guide your next step, knowing that in this trust lies the seed of all manifestation. Through this daily practice, you strengthen the bridge between the visible and invisible worlds, becoming fluent in the universe's native tongue. Chapter 4. The Threshold of Forgetting. In the sacred dance of existence, letting go becomes your most powerful step forward. Change arrives not as an enemy, but as a divine messenger bearing gifts wrapped in disguise. In an old house on a quiet street lived Nancy, who had built her life around gathering memories like autumn leaves. Each box in her attic held fragments of who she once was: old diaries, childhood toys, expired dreams. The weight of these accumulated yesterdays grew until one morning the attic floor surrendered beneath their burden. As Nancy stood amid the scattered remnants of her past, she discovered something remarkable. Beneath the weight of what had fallen lay a lightness she had forgotten. Through the dust of collapse shone a truth as old as time itself. That which you cling to most tightly becomes the very chains that bind you. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, sometimes must shake loose what you refuse to release. In the careful clearing of debris, Nancy found herself performing an ancient ritual, the sacred art of surrender. The law of release teaches that every ending creates space for a new beginning. Just as the snake must shed its skin to grow, your spirit must periodically shed old identities to expand into its true nature. What appears as loss reveals itself as liberation when viewed through the eyes of wisdom. This truth found another voice in Edgar's tale. In searching for a photograph that seemed lost to time, he uncovered letters of forgiveness tucked away in an old drawer, words written but never sent, intentions formed but never fulfilled. Yet the universe, operating through its mysterious law of divine timing, had preserved these messages until his heart was truly ready to release them. These stories whisper an ageless secret. What you willingly release returns transformed. The very act of letting go creates a magnetic force that draws fresh possibilities into the vacuum of surrender. Sacred practice. The ritual of sacred release. Choose one object that represents a past version of yourself, perhaps a piece of clothing, a memento, or any item that holds the energy of who you once were. Hold it in your hands and thank it for its service in your journey. Then, with gratitude and intention, give it away freely. As you release this symbol of your past self, breathe deeply into the spaciousness that remains. Feel how liberation floods the space where attachment once lived. In this simple act of conscious release, you align yourself with the eternal flow of universal energy, which knows that all transformation begins with surrender. Chapter 5. The Guide in the Doorway. In the unfolding mystery of existence, guides manifest in the most humble forms, teaching through their mere presence rather than proclamation. A truth whispered through the ages reveals itself. What you nurture in others, you awaken within yourself. At dawn one morning, Clara discovered a stray dog waiting at her doorstep. Its eyes held a wisdom that transcended its earthly form, patient, accepting, complete in its being. Though she had never considered herself a caretaker, something in those eyes called to a forgotten part of her soul. As she offered water and shelter to this unexpected visitor, she noticed a subtle transformation occurring within. Each gentle gesture toward the dog dissolved another layer of her own guardedness. In caring for this creature's vulnerability, she rediscovered the pure trust she had sealed away in childhood. The law of reflection teaches that the universe places before you precisely what you need to remember about yourself. Every being that crosses your path carries a message, a mirror reflecting some aspect of your inner truth waiting to be recognized. This wisdom found expression through Floyd, who served as a school janitor. His hands knew the honest work of maintaining order, yet his heart held the key to a deeper understanding. In dreams, he witnessed a golden key suspended before an ancient door that seemed to contain all possibilities. Upon waking, illumination dawned. The key was not a thing to be grasped, but a quality to be embodied. Compassion, he realized, was the master key that unlocked every heart, including his own. The universe operates through such sacred symmetry. What you offer freely to others returns multiplied. Each act of kindness creates ripples in the fabric of consciousness, opening pathways between hearts that seemed separate but were always connected. As you walk through your day, practice this timeless technique of remembrance. Upon meeting others, whether stranger or friend, difficult or dear, silently speak these words within your heart. You and I share the same light. Feel how this simple recognition opens invisible doors, dissolving the illusion of separation. Let this practice reveal the truth. We are all reflections in the same infinite mirror, each helping the other remember our shared radiance. Chapter 6. The Song Behind Silence. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a sacred truth. The vibrations you emanate shape the reality you experience. Like ripples on still water, your inner state creates waves that touch everything around you. Long ago, a sage taught that before words were spoken, there was sound. Before form manifested, there was vibration. This primordial wisdom reveals itself in the simplest moments of daily life. Evelyn discovered this truth unknowingly one afternoon while washing dishes in her kitchen, as she hummed an old melody passed down from her grandmother. Something remarkable occurred. The heated argument that had been escalating next door began to soften, like ice melting in warm sunlight. Her gentle tune carried a frequency of peace that transcended walls and circumstances, though she remained unaware of its transformative power. The law of attraction responds first to the quality of your vibration, before any physical manifestation appears. Your energy speaks a language more ancient than words, broadcasting your inner state into the fabric of reality itself. This universal principle found another witness in Curtis, who sat trapped in gridlocked traffic one morning. Rather than surrendering to frustration, he began singing softly to himself, an unconscious act that altered the energy field around him. As his voice filled his car with gentle harmonics, the flow of traffic seemed to find a natural rhythm. Vehicles began moving with unexpected grace, as if responding to the peaceful frequency he had introduced into that space. In Curtis's harmonic patience, we witness the power of maintaining inner peace, regardless of outer circumstances. His experience illuminates how the universe mirrors back to us the vibrations we offer it. When we shift our internal frequency toward harmony, the external world cannot help but align with that resonance. This ancient knowledge speaks through every tradition that understood the sacred power of sound, from Gregorian chants to Tibetan bowls, from Native American songs to Hindu mantras. All point to the same truth: vibration precedes manifestation. Practice. Find a quiet space and allow yourself to hum softly, without forcing any particular tune. Let the sound arise naturally from your breath. As you continue, imagine your breath transforming into streams of light that flow through the sound you're creating. Notice how your emotional state begins to align with the peaceful vibration you're generating. Let this harmony expand until you sense yourself becoming one with the serene frequency you're emanating. Chapter 7. The Seed of Willingness. Before the manifest world emerges, a sacred song vibrates through the cosmos. This eternal melody shapes all creation, moving through every atom like an invisible wind. You know this truth in your bones, though the mind may have forgotten. Consider the subtle power that flows when you align with this universal rhythm. Like Evelyn's unconscious humming that brought peace to her neighbor's quarrel, your energy ripples outward in ways you cannot see. The law of attraction responds first to your inner frequency, then manifests in outer form. Curtis discovered this while sitting in gridlocked traffic. Instead of surrendering to frustration, he began softly singing an old tune. As his vibration shifted, the cars around him seemed to flow more smoothly, as if responding to his harmonious state. Through his example, we glimpse how inner peace creates outer order. Yet this principle extends beyond mere coincidence. Lottie understood this when she planted her basil seeds despite storm clouds gathering overhead. While others saw only threatening skies, she recognized a deeper truth, that faith prepares the soil for miracles. Her willingness to act created a channel through which universal forces could flow. This same wisdom guided Marvin when he lost his position at work. Rather than sink into despair, he continued dressing each morning as if employed, maintaining the vibration of purpose and dignity. Within 7 days, a chance encounter led him to an opportunity more aligned with his soul's calling. By holding the frequency of faith, he attracted its matching reality. These experiences reveal that the universe responds not to what you ask for, but to the song your being sings. When you vibrate in harmony with what you seek, creation itself conspires to manifest it. This is not magical thinking, but rather the natural law of resonance, expressing itself through your life. Sacred practice. Choose one small act today that requires pure faith. Perhaps water a garden that shows no sprouts, or prepare your workspace for an opportunity not yet visible. As you perform this action, allow yourself to feel the quiet conviction that an unseen order supports your every move. Notice how this practice shifts your vibration from doubt to trust, from fear to faith. The universe always mirrors back the frequency you emit. Chapter 8. The river remembers the sky. In the ancient valleys between mountain peaks, Agnes sat watching droplets merge with the flowing river. Each raindrop, though seemingly separate in its descent, reunited perfectly with the greater body of water. Not a single drop remained isolated. All returned to their source, their true nature unchanged by the journey. This eternal dance mirrors the deepest truth of existence. Your consciousness, like water, never truly separates from its divine origin. Though you may feel distinct and alone in your earthly form, you remain eternally connected to the infinite source from which you emerged. Just as water cycles through cloud and rain to return to the ocean, your awareness flows through various states while always remaining part of the universal consciousness. Chester's dream revealed this same wisdom through different symbols. As he moved upward through waves of light, each layer grew progressively more luminous until he emerged into perfect stillness. His journey illustrates the soul's natural movement toward expanded awareness, from the depths of material existence back to the pure consciousness of Source. The water's message speaks clearly. There is no true separation. The droplet that seems to fall alone through space remains essentially water, destined to reunite with its vast ocean home. Your individual awareness, though it may feel isolated within the body, remains united with the infinite field of consciousness from which all experience arises. This knowing brings profound peace. Just as water flows naturally downhill, your consciousness naturally inclines toward remembrance of its true nature. You need not struggle to find connection. You need only recognize the connection that has always been there, like a raindrop that never truly left the ocean. The ancient practice of water meditation. As you prepare for sleep each night, settle quietly and imagine yourself as pure, flowing water. Feel yourself rising upward through layers of memory and thought, becoming increasingly clear and light. Let each layer you pass through dissolve any sense of separation until you emerge into vast, still awareness. Rest in this space of pure being, knowing you have never truly been apart from it. Let this knowing carry you into peaceful sleep, held in the embrace of your own infinite nature. Chapter 9. The Fire of Perception. In the depths of an ancient forest, Ruby gathered dried branches and kindled a small fire as twilight descended. The flames danced before her, each spark rising like a thought breaking free from earthly bonds. As she watched intently, understanding dawned. Every spark represented consciousness transforming, just as thoughts crystallize into experience through the heat of focused attention. The fire spoke without words, revealing the eternal law. That which you hold in sustained focus becomes your living reality. Each crackling ember carried this truth skyward, demonstrating how energy transmutes from one form to another, never truly disappearing, but rather changing states. Through the fire's glow, Ruby witnessed the alchemy that perpetually shapes existence, the transformation of the intangible into the tangible through unwavering attention. In the quiet depths of a winter evening, Nelson sat alone in his study, a single candle flame his only companion. As shadows danced on the walls, he allowed his gaze to soften, merging with the steady light before him. In that space between looking and seeing, images began to form. Memories of laughter shared with his brother in childhood, moments of connection long buried under years of misunderstanding. The warmth of the flame seemed to melt the ice of resistance in his heart. As the candle burned lower, clarity emerged like dawn breaking through fog. The time had come to bridge the gulf of silence between them. That very evening, guided by the wisdom revealed in candlelight, Nelson reached for his phone. The conversation that followed began the healing of a bond that had seemed irreparably broken. These moments reveal the sacred relationship between warmth and vision, between sustained attention and transformation. Just as fire transmutes matter into light and heat, your focused consciousness transforms thoughts into living experience. The flame teaches that all manifestation begins in the steady burning of single-pointed awareness. Ancient practice of the flame. In a quiet space, light a candle and sit before it in stillness. Allow one pure desire to rise in your heart, not a restless wanting, but a steady knowing of what seeks to emerge through you. Let the flame's unwavering presence teach you how to hold this desire in pure focus, without anxiety or doubt. As the candle burns, feel your consciousness merge with its light until desire and knowing become one unified flame of certainty. This is the art of transformation through attention, the way of fire that turns thought into lived experience. Chapter 10. The Bridge of Trust. Along a winding mountain path, a half-finished bridge stretched across a deep canyon. Each morning, Sadie would trek to this spot, watching the workers move in perfect synchronicity with nature's rhythm. She noticed something remarkable. They only advanced their work when the wind fell silent. Moving with such grace it appeared as though the bridge itself was growing from the earth. The workers understood a truth as old as time itself, that the universe operates in cycles of action and stillness. In their wisdom, they had learned to harmonize with these natural patterns rather than fight against them. When strong winds blew, they would pause, using this time for reflection and preparation. When calm returned, they worked with doubled efficiency, their efforts multiplying through alignment with natural law. This ancient principle reveals itself in all of creation. Just as seeds sprout only in their season and flowers bloom according to nature's schedule, your desires manifest most effortlessly when you align with universal timing. Force creates resistance, while flow creates results. In a distant city, Clyde discovered this same truth through an unexpected teacher: dance. Having always struggled with perfectionism, he joined a dance class where he learned to move only when music played. At first, he fought against the rhythm, trying to control every step. But gradually, he discovered that true mastery came from surrendering to the beat. When he stopped trying to lead and instead allowed himself to be led by the music, his movements became graceful and natural. Through Clyde's journey, we glimpse another facet of this timeless wisdom. His confidence grew not from imposing his will, but from learning to trust in perfect timing. Like the bridge builders who worked in harmony with the wind, Clyde learned that creation flows most powerfully when we align ourselves with natural rhythms rather than resist them. The bridge and the dancer teach us the same lesson, that all manifestation follows divine timing. When you struggle against the natural order, you create resistance. But when you learn to move in harmony with universal rhythms, you tap into a power far greater than personal will. Ancient practice. Sit quietly and envision your deepest aspiration as a bridge forming across the expanse of possibility. With each breath, see a new plank appearing, but only in moments of complete peace. Notice how progress naturally unfolds when you align with ease rather than force. Let this visualization remind you that manifestation flows most powerfully when you honor divine timing. Part 2. The Cave Within. Chapter 11. The Descent of Shadows. In a forgotten corner of her home, Tilly descended worn stone steps, following a mysterious glimmer that danced just beyond her reach. The cellar air held memories thick as cobwebs, and there, beneath layers of dust, lay her old journals. Chronicles of unspoken pain she had tried to bury beneath years of careful forgetting. The universe speaks through what we attempt to hide. Those moments you turn away from hold the very keys to your transformation. Like Tilly's journals, your deepest wounds wait patiently in the darkness, not to harm you, but to heal you. When you shine light on what you fear to see, you discover that shadows are simply light waiting to be remembered. Your resistance to pain creates more suffering than the pain itself. The law of attraction responds not to what you proclaim, but to what you truly feel beneath your carefully constructed defenses. Until you embrace your shadows, they will continue to manifest in your experiences, asking to be acknowledged. Gordon's dream showed this truth with perfect clarity. Night after night, he found himself in a hall of mirrors, each one reflecting aspects of himself he had denied: his anger, his grief, his shame. At first, he tried to clean the mirrors to blur these unwanted reflections, but the more he wiped, the clearer they became, until finally he understood. These faces were not his enemies, but parts of himself begging for acceptance. When Gordon stopped running and turned to face these reflections, something miraculous occurred. Each shadow he embraced transformed into light. His anger revealed itself as passion misunderstood. His grief showed itself as love's depth. His shame dissolved into self-acceptance. In facing what he feared, he discovered that darkness holds light's deepest secrets. This is the paradox of shadow work. What you resist will persist, but what you embrace transforms. The very aspects of yourself you judge most harshly contain seeds of your greatest gifts. Like Tilly's journals and Gordon's mirrors, your shadows hold messages of healing, waiting for you to listen. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you feel safe. Choose one memory that brings discomfort, a moment of regret, shame, or pain. Speaking softly but clearly, tell this memory's story aloud, as if sharing it with the universe itself. As you speak, imagine golden light surrounding each word, softening its edges. Continue until you feel the shift from judgment to understanding, from pain to acceptance. Let gratitude arise naturally for how this experience has shaped your journey. In this sacred act of witnessing, shadow becomes light. Chapter 12. The Chamber of Doubt. The shadows that guard the deepest truths only dissolve when met with genuine acceptance. In ancient times, masters spoke of a veiled door within consciousness, one that opens not to force but to surrender. This teaching manifests in the tale of Opal, whose mind became a fortress against wonder. Each morning, Opal would analyze the placement of leaves on her path, dissect the meaning of chance encounters, and scrutinize the patterns in her coffee swirls. Her analytical mind, sharp as winter frost, cut through every hint of magic until the universe fell silent. No more did numbers align in meaningful sequences. Gone were the helpful strangers appearing at crucial moments. Even the birds ceased their morning messages outside her window. The law reveals itself through this truth. What you refuse to see eventually refuses to show itself. The universe mirrors your trust or lack thereof with perfect precision. When you armor yourself against signs, synchronicity retreats like a shy child, waiting for a gentler welcome. Yet the flow of divine communication never truly ceases. It simply awaits recognition. This truth emerged through Lionel, who had built walls of cynicism so high they blocked the sun. One autumn afternoon, as he mentally dismissed another coincidence as mere probability, a child's spontaneous laughter pierced his intellectual shield. The sound, pure and free from doubt, rang through his defenses like a bell of awakening. In that moment, Lionel glimpsed how his need for proof had become a prison. The child's joy carried no burden of verification. It simply was, complete in its expression. Through this unexpected messenger, he remembered a forgotten wisdom. Magic doesn't require belief to exist, but belief opens the eyes to see what always was. The universe speaks in whispers of synchronicity, in touches of grace so subtle they vanish under scrutiny. Like butterflies, these signs alight only when we still our reaching hands. The law teaches that manifestation flows not from proof, but from permission. Permission to experience wonder without demanding explanation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space as the sun rises or sets. Whisper softly, "I am ready to believe again." Let silence follow your words. Make no effort to hear an answer or see a sign. Simply rest in the space of possibility, like a flower opening to morning light. The universe responds not to your words, but to the genuine openness behind them. Chapter 13. The Echo of Fear. In the depths of every soul lies a chamber where doubt echoes against ancient walls. This truth unveiled itself to Pearl one moonless night as she found herself wandering through endless corridors in her dreams. Each doorway promised both liberation and limitation. Each choice seemed to multiply into 1,000 more, until the very act of choosing became a maze of its own making. The universe speaks through such moments, showing us how the mind creates labyrinths of hesitation. Pearl stood frozen before countless doors, each one reflecting her own uncertainty back at her. Yet in that moment of perfect paralysis, wisdom whispered its timeless secret. Any door, when opened with trust, leads to freedom. The instant she reached for a handle, any handle, the nightmare dissolved into awakening. Her liberation came not from choosing perfectly, but from choosing at all. This eternal law manifests in countless forms. Harvey, a merchant who spent years planning the perfect moment to expand his trade, discovered its power when storm clouds gathered over his village. As thunder cracked the sky, he was forced to decide: secure his goods in the usual storage or risk moving them to higher ground. The storm left no time for careful analysis, no space for weighing endless possibilities. In that compressed moment of necessity, Harvey chose action over anxiety. His quick decision not only saved his wares, but washed away years of hesitation. The universe teaches through such moments that action holds a power that thought alone cannot possess. When Harvey later reflected on that stormy night, he realized that the energy spent in endless deliberation could have powered 1,000 decisive moments. The storm had given him what years of contemplation could not: the understanding that movement, any movement, dissolves the illusion of trapped energy that manifests as anxiety. You too stand in this chamber of doubt, where choices seem to multiply endlessly before you. Yet remember, the universe does not require perfect choices, only chosen ones. Each decision, however small, creates ripples of momentum that dissolve the stagnant waters of hesitation. Ancient practice. In the sacred tradition of transforming fear into power, act today where doubt would have you wait. Choose one small action that fear has delayed. Send that message, make that call, take that first step. As you act, feel the immediate shift in your energy field. Notice how the very atmosphere around you responds to decisive movement. This is not mere action, but the activation of universal law. Motion dissolves emotion. Let each small choice build upon the last, creating a current of courage that carries you beyond the chamber of doubt. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Serpent of Resistance. In the silence of dawn, Betty sat cross-legged upon her meditation cushion, struggling against waves of inner turbulence. Her mind raced like a caged bird beating its wings against invisible bars. The harder she tried to find stillness, the more violently her thoughts thrashed against her will. This wrestling match with restlessness only amplified her frustration until she felt ready to abandon her practice entirely. Yet, in that moment of near surrender, an ancient truth revealed itself. Resistance creates the very tension it seeks to overcome. The universal law whispers that peace arrives not through force, but through acceptance. When Betty finally released her grip on the need for perfect stillness, her restlessness began to unwind naturally, like a tightly wound spring gradually returning to its natural state. This mirrors the eternal dance between effort and ease, control and surrender. The law of attraction operates not through rigid determination, but through aligned allowing. Just as water finds its level by yielding to gravity, consciousness finds its natural state by releasing resistance to what is. Douglas discovered this truth during his battle with insomnia. Night after night, he forced himself to stay vigilant, believing awareness required constant effort. Yet one evening, exhausted by his struggle, he momentarily let go. In that brief surrender, he touched a deeper current of consciousness, one that had always flowed beneath his striving. His revelation showed that true awakening comes not from fighting sleep, but from allowing a higher awareness to emerge naturally. The universe operates through paradox. The more you chase peace, the more it eludes you. The moment you stop pursuing and simply allow what is, peace finds you. This is the hidden wisdom within surrender. Not a resignation to circumstances, but an alignment with the natural flow of universal energy. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Rather than trying to control your breath, simply observe its natural rhythm. Notice how your body breathes itself without your interference. Let each breath come and go as it will, teaching you the art of yielding. In this gentle surrender, discover how letting go becomes your greatest strength. This practice reveals that true power lies not in domination, but in alignment with the natural flow of life force within and around you. Chapter 15. The Mirror of Judgment. In a small village beneath ancient mountains lived a woman named Elsie who spent her afternoons sharing stories about neighbors over cups of tea. She believed her words floated harmlessly into the air like wisps of steam, dissolving without consequence. Yet with each criticism uttered, each judgment passed, an unseen law was at work. Her own light dimmed ever so slightly, like a mirror slowly gathering dust. The universe operates as an infinite mirror, reflecting back the energy we project. When you speak of others, you speak ultimately of yourself. Each word carries a vibration that shapes not only the subject of your speech, but the very essence of your being. This truth lies at the heart of the law of attraction. What you put forth returns multiplied. For months, Elsie failed to notice how her conversations left her feeling hollow, until one morning she caught her reflection in a window. The dullness in her eyes startled her. She saw herself as if for the first time, and recognized how her words had created a film over her own radiance. In that moment of recognition, the ancient teaching revealed itself. The outer critic rises from an inner wound, seeking healing through projection. The law works silently but precisely. Every judgment cast outward plants a seed of self-judgment within. Every criticism spoken aloud echoes back as a whisper of self-doubt. This is not punishment, but perfect reflection, the universe showing you where healing is needed through the mirror of relationship. Calvin discovered this truth through a different path. For years, he carried resentment toward a business rival who had once betrayed his trust. The bitterness became a constant companion, coloring his view of not just his rival but of all relationships. Then one morning, without any external change in circumstances, Calvin chose to forgive. The effect was immediate. Like wiping clean a foggy mirror, his entire world seemed to brighten. His act of forgiveness cleared not just his perception of his rival, but his vision of himself. This reveals another facet of the universal law. Forgiveness operates first as an internal cleansing before manifesting as external change. When you release judgment of another, you free yourself from the weight of carrying that judgment. The mirror of consciousness clears, allowing your natural radiance to shine unobstructed. Sacred practice. As you move through your day, notice when judgment arises toward others. In that moment, pause and shift your focus inward. For each critical thought, offer a blessing instead, both to the person and to the part of yourself reflected in them. Speak words like, "I bless you with love and light. I bless myself with love and light." Watch how this practice gradually clears the mirror of your consciousness, revealing the inherent brightness that has always been there. Through this simple yet powerful shift, you align with the law of reflection, transforming judgment into clarity, criticism into compassion. Chapter 16. The Trial of Patience. In the garden of understanding grows a truth as old as time itself, the power of patient waiting. Let us begin with the tale of Wanda, whose hands yearned to nurture life from a tiny seed. Day after day, she tended the seemingly lifeless soil, watering it with hope and expectation. Yet no green shoot emerged to reward her devotion. As weeks passed without visible change, something remarkable occurred, not in the soil, but in Wanda's heart. The seed of patience took root instead, flowering into wisdom that transcended her original desire. Through this experience, the universe revealed that waiting itself is a sacred practice, one that aligns our inner timing with the cosmic dance of creation. Within the depths of your being lies this same divine timing. When you resist the natural rhythm of manifestation, you create friction with the flow of life. But when you surrender to sacred waiting, you enter into harmony with the universe's perfect orchestration. Consider Roger, who dismantled an engine with mechanical precision. As he carefully cleaned and examined each component, he discovered he was actually reassembling something far more precious, his own inner peace. Each part represented a fragment of understanding, teaching him that wholeness emerges not from rushing, but from honoring the process of gradual restoration. These stories illuminate an eternal truth. Waiting is not empty space between desires and their fulfillment. It is the very soil from which manifestation grows. Every moment of patience is a seed of possibility, every breath of acceptance a drop of divine timing. The universe operates through perfect timing, not the rigid measurements of human calendars, but the fluid rhythm of divine orchestration. When you align with this sacred timing, resistance dissolves and grace flows naturally into your experience. Ancient practice of sacred waiting. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Release all expectations of what should happen next. Simply rest in the spaciousness of this moment, allowing stillness to be your teacher. Notice how fulfillment is already present in the quiet depths of your being. Maintain this practice for as long as feels natural, knowing that in your waiting, wisdom blooms. Chapter 17. The Gate of Forgiveness. In the depths of a distant valley lived a woman named Hattie, whose heart had grown heavy with the weight of remembered wrongs. Each morning she would polish her grievances like precious jewels, drawing strength from their familiar sharp edges. Her resentment became a fortress, protecting her from the vulnerability of trust, yet also imprisoning her spirit. The universe speaks through the language of energy, and what you hold captive ultimately holds you. When you guard old wounds, you bind your life force to shadows of the past. This ancient wisdom echoes through time. The energy spent maintaining grievances depletes the very power needed for transformation. Your spiritual essence knows no boundaries except those you create through resistance. Each moment spent nurturing resentment diverts the flow of universal energy away from your highest good. Like a dam blocking a river's natural course, grudges obstruct the current of abundance seeking to nourish your life. The path to freedom lies not in forgetting, but in conscious release. When Hattie finally collapsed under the exhaustion of maintaining her emotional armor, she discovered a profound truth. Letting go requires less energy than holding on. In that moment of surrender, vitality rushed back into her world like spring waters breaking through winter ice. Herbert's tale mirrors this eternal principle. For 10 years, he carried self-blame like a heavy stone upon his chest, each night replaying old choices in endless loops of regret. The burden manifested in restless sleep and troubled dreams, until one evening he simply allowed himself to be imperfectly human. That night, peaceful sleep embraced him like a long-lost friend. His unconscious mind no longer needed to process the weight of self-judgment. These stories illuminate the sacred alchemy of release. When you free others from the prison of your judgment, you simultaneously liberate yourself. The energy once spent maintaining walls of resentment becomes available for creation and joy. Ancient practice of light release. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply into your heart center. Now visualize the person you've blamed standing before you, bathed in pure golden light. See their face softened by this radiance, their humanity revealed beneath past actions. Gradually expand this light until it encompasses you as well, dissolving the barriers between accuser and accused. Feel the energy previously bound in resentment returning to you as vital force. Remain in this shared luminosity until peace replaces the need for protection. Chapter 18. The Lantern of Truth. In the depths of your being lies an ancient understanding. Forgiveness is not merely an act of mercy toward others, but a key that unlocks your own imprisoned power. When you hold tight to grievances, you bind your life force to shadows that dim your radiance. This truth has whispered through the ages. What you refuse to release continues to hold you captive. The universe operates through pure energy, and resentment acts as a dense weight, anchoring you to past moments that no longer exist. Each grievance maintained requires constant energy diverted from the natural flow of abundance and joy that seeks expression through you. Your very resistance to letting go becomes the chains that bind your spirit. Consider how Hattie discovered this wisdom. For years, she had worn her hurts like armor, believing they protected her from future pain. Yet one day, exhaustion from carrying this heavy shield finally overwhelmed her pride. In that moment of surrender, as her grip loosened on long-held resentments, she felt an immediate lightness, as if wings long bound had suddenly unfurled. The law of attraction responds not to your words or wishes, but to the vibration you maintain. When you cleanse your energy field through forgiveness, you create space for grace to enter. This is why Ida's moment of truth with her friend became a gateway to freedom. Rather than defending her deception, she chose to thank him for the mirror he provided. In that instant of radical honesty, the burden of pretense dissolved, and relief flooded in like morning light through parted curtains. This principle revealed itself again through Melvin's experiment with truth. For 7 days, he committed to absolute honesty in his journal, recording thoughts and feelings he typically denied. As his inner world aligned with truth, the outer world responded in kind. Synchronicities began to multiply around him, as if the universe itself celebrated his courage to be authentic. The ancient law remains constant. What you hide holds power over you, but what you honestly face transforms into wisdom. Every truth spoken aloud dissolves a layer of separation between your current self and your highest potential. This is not about harsh exposure, but gentle acknowledgement of what is. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment alone. Close your eyes and bring to mind one truth you usually keep hidden, perhaps a fear, a desire, or a regret. Speaking barely above a whisper, give voice to this truth. Notice the sensation of lightness that begins to spread through your body as the words release their hold. Let this physical feeling of relief guide you toward what else might be ready for liberation through honest expression. Chapter 19. The Alchemy of Emotions. In the quiet corners of a sunlit room, Mabel sat listening to an old melody that had once brought her pain. As tears began to fall, something extraordinary occurred. A laugh bubbled up from deep within, surprising her with its spontaneity. In that sacred moment of mixed emotions, she witnessed the ancient wisdom at work. Feelings are not fixed states, but flowing energies seeking transformation. The truth is that emotions are messengers of the soul, carrying vital information through the vessel of your being. When you resist them, they become stagnant pools of unexpressed power. Yet when you allow them to move freely through awareness, they reveal their inherent wisdom and transform into higher frequencies of understanding. Like water changing to vapor, emotions naturally seek elevation when given space to evolve. This is the hidden teaching that masters throughout time have discovered. Feelings are not meant to be permanent residents, but traveling teachers, each carrying seeds of awakening within their temporary form. In his small studio, Rufus discovered this same principle through different means. Facing a blank canvas, he began painting with fierce strokes of dark red and black, channeling anger that had long simmered beneath the surface. As he continued to move with the energy rather than fight it, something remarkable unfolded. The colors on his palette began shifting of their own accord. What started as expressions of rage gradually transformed into soft, luminous pink hues that radiated peace. Through this spontaneous alchemy, he experienced firsthand how creative engagement with emotion leads to natural transformation. Your feelings are not enemies to be conquered, but energies awaiting conscious participation in their dance of transformation. When sadness arrives, it carries within it the potential for joy. When anger surfaces, it contains the seeds of power rightly directed. The key lies not in suppressing these energies, but in becoming an aware vessel through which they can complete their intended transformation. Ancient practice. When strong emotion arises, place your hands over your heart center. Breathe deeply and imagine the feeling as pure energy entering this sacred space. Without judgment, watch as the energy naturally shifts and changes color in your inner vision. Continue breathing until you sense a new quality of calm emerging from within. This practice reveals your innate power to transmute emotional energy into higher frequencies of consciousness. Chapter 20. The Return of Power. Through lifetimes of wisdom, an eternal truth emerges. Your emotions are not obstacles to transcend, but sacred waters carrying seeds of transformation. Each feeling that rises within you holds the potential for profound alchemy, the conversion of one energy into another, just as base metals transmute to gold. When you allow emotions to flow without resistance, they reveal their hidden gifts. Fear transforms into courage, anger into strength, grief into compassion. This is the ancient art of emotional alchemy, known to mystics and sages throughout time. Consider how Flora discovered this truth. After years of seeking validation from others, she turned inward to the whispers of her own soul. In that sacred silence, she found that all the guidance she had ever needed resided within. As she honored her inner knowing, her choices aligned effortlessly with the universal flow. The outer world began to mirror her inner certainty, bringing opportunities that perfectly matched her authentic path. Vincent's journey reveals another facet of this wisdom. He had carried the weight of unworthiness, offering constant apologies for taking up space in the world. But when he finally released this pattern and claimed his right to exist fully, the universe responded in kind. Opportunities began flowing toward him, as if they had been waiting for him to acknowledge his own light. These experiences illuminate a fundamental law. Your relationship with yourself shapes the universe's response to you. When you stand firmly in your worth, creation itself conspires to support your unfolding. This is not mere coincidence, but the operation of cosmic law, as within, so without. The alchemy of emotion requires neither force nor struggle. Like water finding its natural course, feelings seek their own transformation when given space to flow. Your role is not to direct this process, but to witness it with loving awareness, trusting in the innate wisdom of your being. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Place your hand upon your heart and speak these words with gentle authority. I authorize my own light. Feel how these words create space within you, allowing your energy to expand naturally. Let this affirmation be your companion throughout the day, a reminder of your inherent power to transform through self-acceptance. Part 3. The Summit of Light. Chapter 21. The Vision Hole. In the quiet dawn, Annie sat in meditation, her breath flowing like a gentle stream. As stillness deepened, a vision unfolded before her inner eye. Her entire existence appeared as a single radiant thread of light. This luminous fiber stretched infinitely in both directions, weaving through countless other threads in an intricate tapestry of being. In that moment, she understood that every choice, every encounter, every triumph and challenge had been perfectly placed within the grand design. The universe speaks through such moments of clarity, revealing that your journey has never been random or separate from the whole. Each experience you meet serves as a golden stitch in the fabric of existence, connecting you to all that is, was, and will be. Your presence here is no accident. It is an essential thread in the cosmic weaving. Leonard discovered this truth in his own way. Day after day, he would sit beside the ancient mountains, their towering peaks reaching toward heaven. At first, they seemed immovable giants of stone, separate from his small human form. Yet as his awareness expanded, something extraordinary occurred. He began to feel the mountains breathe. Their rhythm matched his own, rising and falling in perfect harmony. The boundary between observer and observed dissolved, revealing the underlying unity of all things. Within you lies this same capacity for expanded awareness. When you release the illusion of separation, you discover that every breath you take moves in concert with the universe itself. Your heartbeat echoes the cosmic pulse. Your consciousness is not confined to the boundaries of your form. It extends into the infinite, connected to all of creation through subtle threads of light. This is the profound truth that the ancient ones knew. You are not merely existing within the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself through your unique expression. Every moment of your life contributes essential color and texture to existence's endless tapestry. There are no wrong turns on this journey, only different patterns being woven into the whole. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and begin to breathe slowly and deeply. Visualize your life as a single thread of pure golden light, stretching infinitely behind and before you. See how this radiant fiber weaves through every experience you've ever had, connecting all moments into one seamless flow. Feel how your thread intertwines with countless others, creating a vast tapestry of light. Rest in the knowing that your presence here is perfect and complete, exactly as it is. Maintain this vision until you feel your entire being resonating with this truth. Chapter 22. The Integration of Contrasts. Within the grand tapestry of existence, every thread serves its divine purpose. As your awareness expands, you begin to perceive the exquisite balance underlying all of creation. Like day needs night, and breath requires both inhale and exhale, the seeming opposites of life dance together in perfect harmony. Irene discovered this truth through her daily rhythms. Each morning, she would immerse herself fully in her work, pouring energy into every task with focused intention. Yet as evening approached, she learned to release that same intensity, surrendering to complete rest. Over time, these apparent opposites, action and stillness, effort and ease, merged into a single flowing movement. Her life became a graceful dance between doing and being, each supporting and enhancing the other. The wisdom revealed through Irene's experience echoes an ancient truth. Opposition exists only in the mind. When embraced with awareness, apparent contradictions transform into complementary forces, each completing what the other begins. This is the deeper teaching of the law of attraction, that all aspects of life seek balance through relationship, not separation. Walter embodied this understanding through an unexpected doorway. During his evening prayers, tears of grief would sometimes well up, only to be met with spontaneous laughter. Rather than judge these seemingly conflicting emotions, he allowed them to mingle freely. Joy and sorrow flowed together like two streams joining into one river. Through this practice, he discovered that emotional wholeness arises not from choosing one feeling over another, but from allowing all experiences their rightful place in the heart's vast chamber. The universe operates through this same principle of complementary forces: light and shadow, expansion and contraction, giving and receiving. These are not opponents, but partners in an eternal dance of creation. When you resist one aspect of this dance, you create tension and block the natural flow of life force. But when you welcome all experiences as teachers, each moment becomes an opportunity for deeper integration. Ancient practice. Sit quietly and bring to mind something you typically resist or judge as negative. As you hold this in awareness, invite its opposite quality to arise naturally. Notice how these seeming opponents begin to dance together, teaching you about wholeness. Throughout your day, welcome whatever appears as part of life's perfect choreography. Let joy meet sorrow, strength encounter weakness, knowing that in their dance lies the secret of balance. Remember, resistance creates separation, while acceptance reveals unity. Chapter 23. The Initiation of Trust. Georgia climbed a hill blindfolded, each tentative step guided by her friend's gentle voice. Though darkness wrapped around her eyes, something deeper awakened within, an inner knowing that transcended sight. With each careful movement forward, her trust grew stronger. The soft earth beneath her feet became her teacher, showing her that even without seeing the path ahead, she could move in harmony with life's flow. Her journey up that hill transformed into a walking meditation, every step an act of devotion to the unseen hand that guides all things. When you release the illusion of control, the universe reveals its supporting nature. This eternal principle manifested through Vernon's experience as he loosened his grip on anticipated outcomes. Where once he pushed against life's current, he learned to float with its natural rhythm. Doors that had remained stubbornly shut began to open with unexpected grace. His surrender became a key that unlocked possibility after possibility, demonstrating that the universe responds not to force, but to faith. These stories illuminate the paradox at the heart of manifestation, that our greatest power lies in holy surrender. When you cease struggling against what is, you align with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. Like a leaf carried by a stream, you move in perfect timing with the cosmic dance. The law of attraction operates most purely when you trust in the higher wisdom that arranges all things for good. Your role is not to force or control, but to align yourself with the divine current that already knows your highest path. Just as Georgia discovered deeper sight through temporary blindness, you access greater power through willing surrender. Think of the ocean. It does not strive or strain, yet moves mountains through its gentle persistence. So, too, can you accomplish more through trust than through tension. When you release your white-knuckled grip on specific outcomes, you free the universe to bring you gifts beyond your imagining. Sacred practice. As you move through your day, imagine higher consciousness leading you gently by the hand. Feel its loving presence guiding each step, each choice, each moment. Release the need to see the entire path, trusting that you are being led in perfect harmony with divine timing. Let this sacred surrender become your strength, your sanctuary, your song. Chapter 24. The Secret of Effortless Flow. In the mountains lived a young woman who climbed each day with a blindfold, guided only by her friend's voice. Step by step, she learned that vision comes not from eyes alone, but from the heart's deepest knowing. With each ascent, She discovered that trust illuminated paths invisible to sight. Within the vast tapestry of existence lies a profound truth. The universe guides those who release their grip on control. When you surrender to the flow of divine timing, you tap into currents of grace far more powerful than personal will. This is not passive resignation, but active alignment with universal wisdom. The art of yielding transforms struggle into flow, resistance into receptivity. Like water finding its natural course, your spirit knows the path of least resistance. Yet the mind, with its need for certainty, often fights against this innate wisdom. True power emerges not from forcing your way forward, but from aligning with the current of divine guidance. Belle, a young swimmer, spent years fighting upstream against life's current. Each stroke exhausted her until one day she simply let go. In that moment of surrender, she discovered the river carried her farther than struggle ever could. Meanwhile, Cecil abandoned his rigid plans of mastering the waves through control. Instead, he learned to read the ocean's rhythm, moving in harmony with its swells. Through surfing, he discovered that grace flows naturally when we yield to life's greater wisdom. These tales mirror your own journey. How often have you exhausted yourself swimming against life's current? Like Belle and Cecil, you too can discover the power of sacred surrender. When you release the illusion of control, you open yourself to the universe's perfect orchestration. Ancient practice. Today, embody water's wisdom. Move through your activities with fluid adaptability rather than rigid resistance. When obstacles arise, flow around them as a stream circles stones. Let your actions arise from a place of yielding rather than forcing. Notice how grace naturally emerges when you surrender to the divine current carrying you forward. Feel yourself becoming like water, clear, fluid, and at peace with your natural course. Trust that the universe guides your flow toward your highest good, just as rivers inevitably find their way to the sea. Chapter 25. The Radiance of Service. In a small village nestled among ancient hills, Lula rose before dawn each morning to bake bread. As her hands worked the dough, something remarkable began to unfold. With each loaf she shared freely with her neighbors, she noticed her own heart expanding like the rising dough beneath her palms. The simple act of giving transformed her kitchen into a sacred space where abundance multiplied itself through the alchemy of generosity. The universe operates through an eternal law of circulation. Just as breath must flow both in and out to sustain life, abundance must move through you to grow. When you grasp tightly to what you have, you inadvertently block the natural flow of universal prosperity. Yet when you give freely, you align yourself with the infinite current of divine abundance. This wisdom reveals itself in the natural world. A flower releases its fragrance without asking for return. A spring bubbles forth fresh water without demanding repayment. These are not acts of sacrifice, but expressions of the universal law of circulation. Every genuine act of giving creates a vacuum that the universe naturally fills with greater abundance. Jasper spent his retirement years tending to a community garden, never announcing his presence or seeking recognition. Each morning, he quietly watered the plants, pulled weeds, and left fresh vegetables by his neighbors' doors. As months passed, he discovered that his simple acts of service had opened channels of grace in his life. Without seeking anything in return, he found himself surrounded by an inexplicable abundance of joy, friendship, and peace. His quiet giving had become a doorway through which divine energy flowed freely. Like Lula and Jasper, you possess the power to activate this sacred law of circulation. Each act of genuine giving, no matter how small, creates ripples in the universal field of abundance. When you give without expectation of return, you demonstrate trust in the infinite supply of good, and the universe responds by multiplying what flows through you. Ancient practice. Choose one act of giving today, performed with no expectation of recognition or return. It might be as simple as sharing a smile, offering a kind word, or helping someone anonymously. As you give, notice the subtle expansion within your heart. Feel how true giving creates space for grace to enter. This practice aligns you with the eternal law of circulation, opening channels for abundance to flow naturally through your life. Chapter 26. The Crown of Simplicity. The ancient teachings reveal a profound truth through the art of giving, that true wealth flows not from accumulation, but from circulation. When you share freely from your heart, you activate the eternal law of reciprocity that governs all of creation. Just as a flower releases its fragrance without asking who will breathe it in, your acts of service create ripples of blessing that return multiplied. In a bustling city, there lived a merchant named Jasper, who spent his evenings serving meals at a shelter. Though his days were filled with commerce, he discovered that these quiet hours of giving nourished his soul in ways no profit could match. Through the simple act of ladling soup and offering smiles, he experienced the divine exchange, that in serving others, we serve our highest selves. The universe operates through this sacred principle of circulation. Just as blood must flow freely through the body to sustain life, energy must flow through acts of giving to maintain spiritual vitality. When you withhold or hoard, you create stagnation. But when you give with an open heart, you align with the natural abundance of life itself. This truth manifests in countless ways. A kind word offered freely returns as unexpected friendship. A helping hand extended without thought of reward opens doors of opportunity. Even a simple smile shared with a stranger can shift the course of both lives in subtle yet significant ways. Consider the sun, which has given its light ceaselessly for billions of years, yet remains as bright as ever. Its radiance demonstrates the infinite nature of true giving. You too possess this limitless capacity to shine your unique light into the world through service. The key lies in giving from your essence rather than your excess. When you share not just what you have, but who you are, you tap into the boundless well of universal energy. This is not martyrdom or sacrifice, but rather the joyful expression of your authentic nature. Service need not be grand or dramatic. The smallest acts done with great love create powerful ripples in the fabric of reality. A moment of genuine listening, a gesture of unexpected kindness, or simply holding space for another's growth. These seemingly minor offerings carry profound transformative power. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment each day to offer something of yourself, whether through action, word, or silent blessing. Notice how giving opens channels of grace in your life. Through consistent practice, you'll discover that service is not a duty but a privilege, the sacred path through which your soul expands into its full radiance. Chapter 27. The Song of Oneness. The heartbeat of simplicity echoes through every sacred teaching. In the quiet spaces between thoughts, you discover that less becomes more peace, more clarity, more alignment with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Hazel sat at her stall each morning, watching the chaos of commerce unfold around her. At first, the cacophony of voices, footsteps, and cartwheels seemed overwhelming. But as she learned to listen differently, something remarkable occurred. The discord gradually transformed into harmony, each sound finding its perfect place in an eternal symphony. The cries of vendors became melodic calls, the shuffle of feet turned to rhythm, and even the clatter of coins revealed its own musical wisdom. This transformation illuminates an essential truth. Chaos exists only in perception. When you attune yourself to the underlying order, everything reveals its role in the cosmic dance. Through Hazel's awakening, the universe demonstrated how simplicity unveils the hidden patterns connecting all things. Wilbur, a teacher, discovered this same truth while standing in the heart of a crowded square. Instead of seeking escape from the press of bodies around him, he closed his eyes and turned his awareness inward. In that moment of surrender, he felt it, hundreds of hearts beating together, pulsing with the same divine life force. The illusion of separation dissolved, leaving only unity. Through his willingness to be still, Wilbur touched the eternal truth that we are all expressions of one infinite consciousness. These experiences reveal the cosmic law that separation exists only in the mind. When you release the need to divide and categorize, you discover the singular consciousness that animates all forms. Like waves arising from and returning to the same vast ocean, our apparent differences mask an underlying oneness. The practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Begin to breathe slowly and deeply, feeling your connection to the earth beneath you. With each breath, expand your awareness to include all living beings, the trees, the animals, the countless hearts beating across the globe. Allow your breath to synchronize with the great respiration of the planet itself. Feel yourself as a cell in the living body of Earth, pulsing in perfect harmony with the whole. Let this unity consciousness dissolve all sense of separation, revealing your true nature as pure, limitless awareness. Chapter 28. The Flame of Gratitude. In the depths of an ancient valley, a woman named Nora walked among towering trees, her heart heavy with life's challenges. As morning light filtered through the leaves, she paused and did something unexpected. She spoke aloud her gratitude for every difficulty that had shaped her path. "Thank you for the times I felt lost," she whispered, "for they taught me to find my own way." With each acknowledgment, a curious warmth began to blossom within her chest, as if the very act of appreciation was transforming her struggles into strength. Miles away, in a humble cottage, Elmer sat at his weathered kitchen table with a simple notebook. He had begun a practice of recording his blessings, one by one. First, he wrote of grand things, health, shelter, love. Then smaller gifts caught his attention: the song of morning birds, the scent of rain-soaked earth, the smile of a stranger. As his list grew, something extraordinary occurred. The numbers ceased to matter, dissolving into pure wonder at the abundance surrounding him. His awareness expanded beyond counting to a state of perpetual marvel at life's infinite gifts. Their stories unveil a profound truth that echoes through the ages. Gratitude holds the power to transmute the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is not merely an attitude, but a force of transformation, the final key that unlocks the flow of universal abundance. When you thank life for both its light and shadows, you activate an ancient law. Appreciation magnetizes miracles. This magnetism operates beyond logical understanding. It is not about merely listing what you have, but about entering a state of being where thankfulness becomes your natural frequency. In this vibration, you align with the very pulse of creation, where every breath becomes a gift and every moment reveals its perfect design. The practice. Find a quiet space and settle into stillness. Begin to whisper, "Thank you," softly and repeatedly. Don't direct it toward anything specific. Simply let the words flow. As you continue, notice how the words gradually dissolve into pure feeling, leaving only a gentle radiance in your heart center. Rest in this glow of gratitude until it feels as natural as breathing. Let this light remind you that appreciation is your soul's native language. When you allow yourself to slow down and enter a quiet pocket of the day, the repeated whisper of thank you becomes less about meaning and more about rhythm. The words act like a soft knock on the heart, not asking for anything, not naming any object of appreciation. In their simplicity, they bypass the mind's tendency to evaluate and explain, creating a space where gratitude can arise without conditions. As the repetition continues, language naturally thins out. The sound fades, but something warmer takes its place, a felt sense that doesn't need a reason. This gentle radiance isn't emotional excitement. It's a steady, open warmth, as if the heart remembers something it never truly forgot. In this space, appreciation is no longer an action you perform, but a state you inhabit. Resting here, gratitude reveals itself as effortless and intimate, woven into awareness itself. It doesn't depend on circumstances or outcomes. It breathes on its own. This quiet glow becomes a reminder that beneath thought and striving, there is an innate yes to existence, a wordless thank you that has always been speaking through you. Chapter 29. The Revelation of Eternal Now. As the dawn light bathes your surroundings, a sacred truth emerges through the story of Olive, who discovered the illusion of time while watching her thoughts drift like clouds across the sky of awareness. Each memory, each anticipation, existed only in the moment she held it, then dissolved back into the vast ocean of now. Through her experience you glimpse a fundamental principle. The present moment is the only point where power flows. In the heart of your own being lies this same timeless wisdom. When you release the weight of past and future, you enter the sanctuary where manifestation begins. Here, in the eternal now, the law of attraction operates with perfect precision, unhindered by the mind's tendency to scatter energy across imagined timelines. Arnold's story illuminates another facet of this truth. In his modest meditation room, he began timing his breath to the steady tick of a clock. Yet as his awareness deepened, both breath and time merged into something vast and borderless. The mechanical measurement of moments dissolved into pure being. Through his experience, you discover that what you seek through careful planning often arrives through surrender to the infinite present. This eternal moment holds everything, all potential, all possibility, all power. When you align with its limitless nature, you step into the flow of universal abundance. Like a river that knows nothing of yesterday or tomorrow, you move with grace through the only time there is, now. The ancient teaching whispers, your point of power is not in some distant future or remembered past, but in this very instant of awareness. As you release the habit of postponing life, of waiting for the right moment, you enter the timeless realm where all manifestation begins. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Let your breath flow naturally, without trying to control it. Feel this present moment expanding in all directions, backwards through what you call past, forward through what you imagine as future. Notice how this now contains all possibilities, all potential. Rest here, trusting that everything you seek already exists in the infinite present. Let this awareness deepen for several minutes, sensing how the eternal moment holds all you need. Chapter 30. The Master Returns Home. In the soft whispers of dawn, a merchant traveled through distant lands seeking the rarest treasures, convinced that value dwelled in faraway places. For years he journeyed, collecting precious gems and artifacts, yet his heart remained hollow. One morning, exhausted from his endless quest, he sat beneath an ancient tree and closed his eyes. In that moment of surrender, he felt a presence so vast and intimate that tears began to flow. The treasure he had sought across continents had been within him all along. The universe speaks through such moments of recognition. When you cease the outward search, an inward radiance reveals itself as your eternal nature. Like Joyce, who wandered the world only to discover that her small town held the light she sought. You too may find that what you seek has been seeking you. Every face you meet reflects the divine consciousness that you are. Each interaction becomes a mirror, showing you your own luminous nature. The shopkeeper's smile, a child's laughter, even a stranger's glance, all are portals to remembrance. You need not journey far to find the sacred. It pulses in the simple rhythm of your own breath. Clarence understood this when he greeted each sunrise. In recognizing himself in the dawn light, he touched the truth that subject and object are one. The observer and the observed merge in the eternal dance of consciousness, knowing itself through all forms. This is mastery, not the accumulation of knowledge or techniques, but the natural recognition of what has always been present. The search ends where it began, in the heart of your own being. Like a wave realizing it has always been ocean, awakening is simply remembering your true nature. The light you seek is the light by which you seek. The one who looks is what is being looked for. Let your attention rest in the silent space of being. Notice how thoughts come and go while awareness remains unchanged, like the sky holding all weather. This unchanging presence is your true home, the foundation from which all experience arises. Sacred practice. Throughout today, quietly repeat, "I am home," until the words vanish into being. Let this simple phrase dissolve the illusion of separation until only presence remains. In this recognition, you'll find that you never left home. You are what you've been seeking all along. There's a quiet power in letting a phrase drift through the day like background music, not forcing it, not analyzing it, just allowing it to soften the edges of thought. I am home isn't a destination or an achievement. It's a gentle reminder that nothing essential is missing. As the words repeat, they loosen the habit of reaching outward, of believing that fulfillment lives somewhere else, sometime later. When the phrase begins to fade, that fading is not a loss, but a deepening. Meaning gives way to felt sense, and language hands the moment back to silence. What remains is a simple intimacy with what's already here. Breath, awareness, the ordinary miracle of existing without commentary. In that stillness, the mind's stories of distance and arrival quietly unravel on their own. This recognition doesn't arrive with fireworks. It settles like a long exhale. The search relaxes because it's seen through, and presence reveals itself as it always has been, unchanging, patient, unmistakably familiar. Home was never a place to return to. It's the ground you've been standing on, the seeing itself, patiently waiting to be noticed. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. In this eternal moment, you stand at the threshold of remembrance. The journey through these pages has not been about acquiring knowledge, but about peeling away the veils that obscured what you have always known. Each teaching, each practice, each moment of reflection has served as a gentle reminder of your true nature. The wisdom you've uncovered is not foreign to your being. It is the very essence of who you are. Like a stream returning to the ocean, your consciousness now flows back to its source. The so-called mysteries were simply forgotten truths waiting to be remembered. The technique of manifestation, once thought forbidden, reveals itself as natural as breathing. For you are the breath of the universe becoming aware of itself. As you move through your daily life, notice how the ordinary has transformed into the extraordinary. The morning light streaming through your window carries messages of divine radiance. Each face you encounter shimmers with the same consciousness that animates your being. Every challenge becomes an invitation to remember your infinite nature. You now understand that the law of attraction is not a force outside yourself, but the very mechanism of your own consciousness creating reality. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are not separate from the universe. They are the universe expressing itself through your unique form. The sacred texts and ancient teachings were pointing to this simple truth. You are what you have been seeking. The power to manifest, to create, to transform lies not in technique, but in the recognition of your true identity. You are the field of infinite possibilities taking form, the eternal awareness playing in time. Let this understanding settle into your bones. You need not strive for connection with the divine, for you are that divinity expressing itself in human form. The search ends where it began, in the silent recognition of your own nature. Live as this remembrance. Move through your days as consciousness aware of itself. Trust in the perfection of each moment, for it carries the signature of your own divine nature. You have always been home. You simply needed to remember.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.